Hexagon.
What's up guys, my name is Hexagon, also known as Subra, and we're back in the crew. Now, I think that there's gonna be a new pack today, a new car pack, but they haven't said anything. Normally when they release something, we should get it a week after or something like that, but it doesn't seem that way this time, so we might have to wait off until Friday or something like that. Anyway, we're gonna do some PvP and of course talk about what I think about, because it's been 4 months now, and the season pass that I have is most likely run out by this time. But we're gonna talk a little bit about if I feel that it's really been worth purchasing the pack. So I got the golden edition on Steam. I think it was like 70 something. I can't remember exactly. I'm gonna put the figures on the screen somewhere. And it contained the game and the season pass, plus a few other stuff like the street pack, the street edition that you got if you pre-ordered. But after that, you know, we got 4 car packs. I think it was the Vintage, the Extreme, Raid, and some other. I can't remember the last one. Maybe Speed. Yeah, sounds about right. Anyway, we got those packs, and each pack contained 3 cars and the varying amounts of specs for each vehicle. Sometimes it would only include 1 for each car. I think it was one pack that only included 1. And that's cheap, right? That's really cheap. I'm not 100% because I haven't played Forza in a long while. Wow, it didn't turn at all. What the fuck? But yeah, I haven't played Forza in a while, as I said, and I'm not 100% sure, so you don't quote me on it. But I think that they release 8 cars in every pack, more or less. I think that's the amount. I'm not 100% sure, as I said, but I know that they release 1 free car every time. When I played Forza Motorsport 4, I got all the car packs, and I didn't mind that. They weren't that expensive, and I got plenty of cars. That's more than I can say for the car pack that comes with the crew. You're not getting something special here. You're getting 3 cars per pack, and that's pretty much it. The faction missions I don't care about. They could be there or they couldn't. I couldn't care less about them. They're not that interesting. They're not bringing anything new to the table. They could have, you know, done something really special with the faction missions, but instead they're sort of mediocre racing tracks that you need to go on and, you know, to progress in your faction, which until now hasn't really had any effect whatsoever of how much money you get, because I mean it didn't have any real function. And then you get some like vinyls and stuff like that. Yeah, all right, that's cool. Shouldn't that been there from the beginning? It seems a bit cheap to. Oh, it's definitely worth. If you're buying a single pack, I think it's like $6.99. It's definitely worth $6.99 for 3 cars and a few vinyls that you may or may not like. And also, there's just gonna be 3 specs in total here. There's gonna be a performance, there's gonna be a dirt, and there's gonna be a raid. I mean, they could play with the idea of having a raid McLaren F1, for example, or a raid Saleen S7. I mean, it's difficult to visualize something like that, obviously, but I mean, the studio is fairly creative, obviously. I mean, look at this Ford here, for example. It's fucking bonkers. It has the exhaust on the front bumper on the side. Yes, it's probably taken from some real car, but come on. They could play around more with the idea of raid cars and dirt cars and circuit cars and so on. They could do more, and I think they're definitely able to. But yeah, it's just disappointing to see that. Sure, I mean, let's compare it. I think the season pass for Borderlands 2 was the same amount. I'm not 100% sure, so again, don't quote me on that, but that had genuine worth to it. Like, for example, the Tiny Tina's adventure, I can't remember what it was called, was a really fun and lengthy playthrough. Now, obviously it's a racing game, so you can't take it the same way, but still, you know, it should have more than just a few cars, 3 cars in fact, and yeah, it's just disappointing. And some of the cars weren't even that interesting. For example, I don't want a Mini Cooper. I really don't. I want like some crazy prototype car that isn't released in real life yet, you know. For example, the thing that they did with the hot rod. I mean, those look really, really good. Why aren't there more like that? And don't get me started on the raid, because the raid is really terrible. It could have been a lot better. And I think it's a real disappointment. I thought raid was going to be a lot more fun, but it's too slow. It's just weird to jump sometimes, and it doesn't feel like a real raid car. Okay, go. Basically, a raid car is sort of like a stadium truck or something like that. So take a look at that. Look for something like a Dodge Raid truck and compare it to the game. I mean, it's slow in game, and look at it on the video. I mean, it's roaring with I don't know how many horsepower, and like jumping away, almost touching the ground when it's taking off because of the soft suspension. I mean, it's a bit disappointing, if I'm being honest. But alright, enough of the ranting, so let's continue here and do let's use the Mini Cooper and let's see if it's any good. Because I mean, the car packs should bring something special, whether it be a new exciting car, which I might add, the Escalade isn't that exciting, but when they add circuit and raid, it becomes really cool. Same with the Mini Cooper. They could have made it a lot cooler. They could have gone extremely wild, but they didn't. It's just a small Mini Cooper. And I mean, they've just made so many weird mistakes with the patches, like the recent patch, which added a weird camera thing, where if you get too close to someone, it will look at them. The camera will look at them. How does that help you in the race, for example? That doesn't help anyone. Are you serious? What the fuck? Yeah, I mean, stuff like that is just disappointing to see. But yeah, enough of the ranting, I guess. It's just that I thought the game was gonna be a lot more. I thought the game was gonna be sort of like Test Drive Unlimited, you know? They had plenty of cars. I mean, there wasn't much customization and stuff like that, but that wasn't the idea of the game. The idea of the game was to have sort of a second life, if you will. Your alternate ego is playing with this, you know, mansion and many expensive cars, and just driving around the island of Hawaii or Ibiza. I mean, stuff like that. That's really cool. And this is just... this is so annoying. Yeah, but I mean, I thought the game, you're gonna be able to see a lot of game, because when I saw the trailer, I don't know if you remember it, but I'm gonna put a link down in the description. If you remember, they showcased them trying to take out a bank car, money transport or whatever you want to call it. Sort of like what they have in GTA 5, where you can sort of get the money from the transport and, you know, stuff like that. That would have been a really cool feature, to have your crew sort of plan a heist, if you will, where whatever person is supposed to, you know, come into play and maybe ram the car off the road, have one to sort of distract the cops with some other thing. You know, they could have gone a long way with that, but instead we're left with nothing but racing. Which is sort of bland. I mean, once you've done all the tracks, there's really no challenge to it. For example, when I'm racing here, I don't really care if I win or lose, because it doesn't really have a big impact. Sure, there will be people who disagree with me, but there's nothing you can spend your money on once you have everything, so what's the point of, you know, continuing to play? Once you've maxed out your money, what are you gonna do with it? There's nothing you can spend. You can spend it on getting all the parts for every vehicle, instead of going out and getting it, you know? But, I don't know, they could have added more. I know that this sort of story, the single player story and the multiplayer is seamlessly, you know, entangled. So you could just like, oh, I want to play this with a friend, or I want to play this with a random guy, or I want to play it alone. But, I mean, it was too specific. You couldn't have had us create our own character, which would have added more features like clothing and outfits and stuff like that. It would have added a new level of interaction with the player, and the game would have been a little bit, well, a lot different, more like Test Drive Unlimited, where you have a lot of stuff to do. And the cars are actually expensive. I mean, I do racing for maybe an hour or so, and I got enough money to pretty much buy all the cars that I want. I mean, it's too easy. It doesn't give a feeling of success, or it doesn't feel like, oh, I really struggled for this. Oh, I can't wait, whatever, you know, it's, I don't know. Could definitely have been better. Alright, so that's gonna be it for this time, guys. It was a rant. I just getting so pissed off of companies just abusing the microtransaction system. I mean, if you want, you don't have to do anything to get all the cars. You can just buy them all. I mean, that's greedy. and I don't think that should be in a AAA title like this. If this game was free, yes, definitely, it would have been a normal idea for it, you know. But it isn't free. The game is what, 60, 50, whatever euros, and then the season pack on top of that, 25 euros for 14 cars. I mean, it's ridiculous. But tell me what you think of the season pass. Have you felt that it's enough? Did you feel that it was not enough for the money that you paid, or are you neutral on the question? You don't really care. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Give it a like if you liked the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.
Hexagon.
Come on, are you up to the task? Oh yeah! That's how it's done, boy! That's how it's done! What's your name? Tyrone? Oh my god, are you kidding me?